Most of us wake up, pour that first cup of black coffee, and honestly feel like we're starting the day on the right foot. But if we look at it through a clinical lens, we might actually be stepping right into a metabolic sinkhole. You see, during those long hours of sleep, our bodies enter a deep catabolic phase. In that state, the system actually starts scavenging our own skeletal muscle tissue just to keep our essential organs running. We often tell ourselves this is just the inevitable price of getting old, but in reality, it's more like a biological theft. That morning coffee, as much as we love it for the mental clarity, is essentially a blank check. It doesn't do a thing to stop this internal erosion. This is the heart of what scientists call anabolic resistance. It's that frustrating point where our muscle fibers simply stop responding to the protein signals they used to recognize so easily when we were younger. In this video, we aren't just sharing a few recipes. We're handing over the chemical keys to lock those muscle fibers in place. We're going to explore 5 very specific medical-grade additions to your daily brew that can shift your entire physiology from a state of destruction to one of preservation. We'll be counting down to the single most powerful structural protein out there, one that reinforces your entire skeletal frame for less than $1. But before we get to the first addition, I have to ask, how many years have you been drinking your coffee black? Let's change that routine together, starting right now with number 5. Kicking us off at number 5, this first addition to your morning cup isn't about choosing a flavor, it's about a hormonal intervention. I'm talking about Ceylon cinnamon. For those of us as we age, one of the biggest drivers of muscle wasting is a quiet condition called insulin resistance. Think of your muscle cells like high-security vaults that need a very specific key, insulin, to open up and let the fuel in. As we cross that 60-year mark, those locks tend to get rusted and stubborn. So when we eat, instead of those nutrients heading to our muscles to fuel growth, they get diverted into our adipose tissue and turn into that stubborn visceral fat we all struggle with. In a way, our muscles are literally starving in a sea of plenty. This is where Ceylon cinnamon comes in as a potent insulin mimetic. It's packed with bioactive polyphenols that improve our cells' signaling pathways, effectively greasing those rusted locks. This allows glucose to be partitioned back into our skeletal muscles, giving us the raw energy we need for repair. Now, we have to be clinically precise here. The common cassia cinnamon you see in most grocery stores has high levels of coumarin, which can actually be toxic to your liver if you use it every day. You want to make sure you get true Ceylon cinnamon. It protects your liver while you're fueling your strength. Just adding 1 teaspoon to your hot coffee lets the heat activate these essential compounds, turning your morning drink into a strategic tool for nutrient timing. You aren't just sweetening a drink, you're commanding your body to prioritize muscle over fat. But opening up the energy is only half the battle. Now we have to stop the silent biological fire that's been destroying muscle tissue before it even has a chance to rebuild. Let's look at the ultimate inflammation extinguisher at number 4. Number 4 is our frontline defense against something researchers call inflamm-aging, and that's raw cacao powder. As the years go by, our bodies can develop a chronic, low-grade inflammation. It acts like a persistent fire, consuming our muscle fibers faster than we can even dream of creating them. This fire triggers a specific protein called myostatin. To put it simply, myostatin is a growth inhibitor, the biological brake pedal that tells your body not to add any new muscle mass. If those myostatin levels stay high, you could spend all day in the gym and see absolutely zero results. Raw cacao, specifically in its non-alkalized form, is the world's most concentrated source of epicatechin. This unique flavonoid is scientifically proven to put the brakes on myostatin while increasing another protein called follistatin, which effectively releases the brakes on your muscle-building machinery. By stirring 1 heaping tablespoon of raw cacao into your coffee, you're giving your cells a chemical shield that neutralizes free radicals and dials down that systemic fire of inflammation. That bitter, complex taste is the hallmark of its high polyphenol content. It's the signal that it's actually working to protect your functional mass. You're no longer just having a coffee, you're taking part in a liquid intervention that halts muscle decay at the molecular level. But even with the brakes released, our muscles still need a very specialized fuel source to bridge the gap when our normal metabolism starts to flicker. Let's look at that rescue fuel at number 3. Coming in at number 3 is a strategic biohack to bypass a slowing metabolism, C8 MCT oil. As we cross that 60-year threshold, our muscle cells often lose their knack for processing glucose efficiently. It leaves our fibers in a state of constant energy hunger. While standard fats can take hours to digest, requiring bile and a whole complex enzymatic breakdown, C8 MCT oil is different. Known specifically as caprylic acid, it's a VIP fuel that goes straight from your stomach to your liver. From there, it's instantly converted into ketones. For us, ketones are a biological rescue fuel. They provide a metabolic alternative that our muscles can burn right away, which stops the body from cannibalizing its own protein just to get through the morning. The research shows us that MCTs can actually stop the oxidation of leucine, which is the primary building block of our strength. Just by adding 1 teaspoon to your morning coffee, you're providing your muscles with an emergency power source that keeps them running while your primary sugar metabolism is struggling. You're essentially installing a backup battery for your strength, making sure your body burns the oil instead of your own hard-earned tissue. But having the fuel is only part of the equation. You still have to manually flip the switch that tells your body to start constructing new tissue. Let's take a look at the master ignition key at number 2. Number 2 is the master ignition switch for the whole muscle-building operation, L-Leucine powder. For those of us over 60, our biggest biological hurdle is that anabolic resistance we mentioned, that state where our muscle fibers become functionally deaf to the protein signals they used to hear loud and clear. You could eat a massive high-protein meal, but without a strong enough chemical signal, your body might just ignore those nutrients entirely. Leucine is the specific amino acid that manually overrides that resistance. It activates the mTOR pathway, which is our body's primary sensor for protein synthesis. The science tells us that we need a concentrated leucine threshold of about 3 to 4 grams in one sitting to really flip that growth switch. Trying to get that much from whole food alone usually means eating huge, calorie-heavy meals that can be a real burden on our digestion. By adding 1 teaspoon of isolated L-Leucine powder to your coffee, you're bypassing all that heavy lifting for your stomach and sending a high-voltage signal straight to your muscle cells. Now, I should warn you, pure leucine is naturally a bit bitter, but the strong profile of coffee, especially if you've already added the cinnamon and cacao we talked about, masks it perfectly. This isn't for the flavor, it's a clinical intervention that forces your internal factory to start running again. You're telling your body that the materials are here and it's time to build. But even with the machines running, you can't build a stable structure without the right reinforcement bars to hold the whole frame together. Let's look at our final structural foundation in number 1. And finally, at number 1, hydrolyzed collagen peptides. I call this a structural miracle because it maintains the integrity of our entire musculoskeletal system. While our other ingredients focus on the muscle fibers themselves, collagen goes after the fascia, the tendons, and the ligaments that wrap around and support those fibers. Think of your body like a concrete skyscraper. The other nutrients provide the cement, but without the steel rebar, which is your collagen, the whole structure will eventually crack and collapse under its own weight. As we get older, our natural collagen production drops off a cliff, which is why our connective tissue gets brittle and we lose that feeling of functional firmness. Collagen is incredibly rich in glycine and proline, 2 amino acids that are absolutely essential for repairing the biological mesh that holds our skeletal frame together. Unlike heavy protein sources that need a lot of stomach acid to break down, hydrolyzed peptides are pre-digested into tiny chains. They absorb almost completely into your bloodstream without any digestive strain at all. By stirring 2 scoops into your morning coffee, you're reinforcing your structural steel before the day's physical demands even start. It's completely tasteless, it dissolves perfectly, and it provides that invisible strength we need to stay resilient and stable. By combining these 5 pillars, you aren't just drinking a cup of coffee, you're fortifying your biological foundation from the inside out. So there you have it. You now have a complete biological defense system, all contained within your morning mug. By bringing together Ceylon cinnamon, raw cacao, C8 MCT oil,
L-Leucine and hydrolyzed collagen, you're transforming your coffee from a simple pick-me-up into a sophisticated tool for preserving your muscle. This protocol is designed to hit every metabolic roadblock we face after 60, from insulin resistance and chronic inflammation to the structural breakdown of our connective tissues. We don't have to just accept muscle loss as an unavoidable part of getting older. It's a biological choice, and today you've chosen to fight back. You don't have to do all 5 at once. Just start with 1 tomorrow morning and feel the difference in your energy and your stability. Our mission here at Vitality After 60 is to make sure we all maintain our physical authority for as long as we possibly can. If this clinical breakdown gave you the clarity you've been looking for, please hit the like button and subscribe. Join our growing brotherhood of men who refuse to let the calendar define our strength. We really want to hear from you. Which of these 5 additions are you going to try first tomorrow morning? Drop a comment below with your age and your choice. We read every single one of them. Just remember, our biology isn't a fixed destination. It's a system we can influence every single day. Vitality After 60. Strength doesn't fade with age, it evolves.